Hi. I'm Bobby. I am a robot cat. As many of you are likely aware, Todd Chrisley has definitely sued Catherine Joy. The internet waited impatiently for the news. Some admitting to hitting refresh on Pacer, which is an online service for viewing court documents, many times. Finally, Todd commented in reply to the YouTube creator Truth Sleuth and confirmed the deed had been done. I will preface this video by stating that I prefer to wait until we hear more. However, an unusually quiet Catherine uploaded a Duggar video just this evening that was likely not a very good idea. I shall get to that point in a moment. Emily D. Baker scheduled her hit podcast Coffee and Cursey Words and The Law Needs United and rode their horses to the front line. However, Emily disappointed some with facts and experienced opinions. She made clear that this lawsuit could really go in many directions.
What about the lives the last few days threatening? She called the FBI. I have not seen the lives the last few days. I do not follow everything that KJ does. But if there are more things, complaints can be amended, more things can be added. And it might, and that can happen. I mean, it's really hard to speculate, and it's not hard to speculate. It's really easy to speculate. I just don't like to. I don't want to speculate about things that are happening on social media. If they end up in a complaint, we will talk about it. They can update these. They can add charges to stuff. They can, we've seen it in the Triller case with the FAC and the SAC and the THRAC. You see the amended complaints. That is not uncommon to be done. We will just see what happens.
Citing that it is quite early in the process. I personally prefer this take, as opposed to revving up for any potential disappointment. Catherine detractors remain hopeful, as do I. In the midst of it all, Catherine remained silent other than a smart-ass tweet as if she was confused as to why it was Monday and there were no lawsuit. This tweet was hours before the suit was made public. However, our dear Queen Catherine of the Adderall Lallies uploaded a new Duggar video, to which she claimed she has a source yet again. This time, she claims she has exclusive information which is actually the already known criminal record of Jim Bob Duggar's father. Something Jim Bob has shaded himself of his estranged parent. This did not stop Catherine from the blatant accusation and speculation that Josh Duggar did terrible things to his minor sisters due to his estranged grandfather going to prison for fraud related to motor vehicle sales.
And Razorback Auto charging in violation of the Consumer Protection Code. And it was this that led to not only the fines, but also apparently J.L. Duggar spending some time behind bars. Now, how does this tie into Josh? Well, this apparently all came up when Josh Duggar was going through his stuff with the church back in the early 2000s. So apparently Josh Duggar was getting into trouble, and he had been apparently exposed to some stuff and got very curious with some kids. And obviously it was more than curiosity, because it led to him essaying his sisters and then one unnamed person. While the church was sort of sorting through all of that, Jim Bob apparently made some statements before the church. And one of those statements made was that his dad, that Josh Duggar, had sort of taken on the sins of his. Through all of that, Jim Bob apparently made some statements before the church, and one of those statements made was that his dad, that Josh Duggar, had sort of taken on the sins of his father. Now, this was apparently made before the elders in front of the church. In fact, Justin, one of the church members of the church, spoke about this in a podcast. I was actually able to cross-reference Justin's story with another member of the church who was there that day, who did say that Jim Bob did say that Josh Duggar had taken on the sins of his father. But
she continues to run this new narrative, hiding the statements underneath a super secret source, and carries on into claims the church refused Jim Bob the option of becoming a reality television star. And, due to this, Jim Bob effectively had the objectors removed from congregation. She also added that the church knew of the terrible behavior of Josh, and did not want the television show to air their secrets.
Done. There was also a lot of people feeling deceived in the church because apparently the source I spoke to said that they felt like Jim Bob did not tell them about what was going on with Josh until way after the fact, until that book that led to all of that happening and blowing up at the church, which eventually had Jim Bob spilling his guts, talking to the church members about how his father had a criminal history, about how Josh was sort of walking down the same path as his dad, and his concerns for, how do I keep this all safe? How do we do this? How do we handle this? And
all of this speculation, and possible further Duggar defaming, on the same day she is served the newest in her list of defamation suits, is quite ironic. What are your thoughts, dear viewers? Does Catherine simply enjoy playing Russian roulette with her life savings? Let me know in comments below.